I don't know, guys. I think I'm in over my head here. Ugh. I will give it this. This R6 is slim. I feel like I'm sitting on honey boo boo when I'm on the R1. But this thing is like almost the same width in the tank as my FZ09. It's nice. By the time she hits 4th gear, I'll be contemplating shifting into 2nd. So this is crazy. I'm still in 1st gear right now. So smooth. God, I wish the R1 felt like that. If the R1 felt like that and it was that linear, that would have been like 5,000 miles an hour. Alright, wife, you ready to go? And off we go. See if I can hit 16 grand before that corner. Whew, God, that feels good. Man, just... it's not like instant hit you in the face power, but when you really get into it, that linear throttle curve is just incredible. It's definitely like a really no surprises. It's just a hey, how you doing? Here's your power. Make sure that guy's going. So I'm turning right, babe. I don't know where your turn signals are. Oh, they're in the normal spot. God, this bike feels good. Holy shit. It's like, it feels like the acceleration of the FZ09 almost, but it's just like crispy smooth all the way up to 16 grand. It's super linear. I'm gonna switch to A mode actually. Yeah, on the R6 in 3rd gear, just so that was no throttle to full throttle in 3rd, and it wasn't like a super abrupt, like holy shit. Because on the R6, just jerking the throttle like that would send me off the back of my seat. Oh yeah, I've been saying R1. So if I'm talking about any other bike, just know that I've been talking about the R1. Alright, 2nd gear. Oh, it's Monday. There's probably school right now. It's like, no matter how you're leaning or flicking this bike, the suspension rebound is like, hey, I'm right here. I feel like it's moving along with me, whereas the R1, I kind of feel like I'm moving along with it. Oh man, I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple of days ago, this used to be all fucking trees. I think I turned around here in a video. I'm gonna try and find that and insert that clip here, but this was all forest. Man. So we had everyone in the neighborhood is freaking out on the community forums about how there's a lot of bears been through the neighborhood, and this is where they were coming in. They were going through and going towards the school and obviously making kids nervous, and parents obviously. So I figured out why. It's because they've been clearing. I mean, if you cut away somebody's home, they're gonna come out of the woodwork, and there you go. Yeah, it seems like it was maybe a week ago I was down here doing a first ride video on the Grom when I went from 15 to 14 in the front, and well, I don't know if you guys just saw that right over there, a tree just fell. They're clearing quick. It's kind of a bummer. You hate to see that. These used to be really good mountain biking trails for a lot of guys. Also on local forum, we have our own little group of mountain biking geeks. So that's a bummer. Huh. Okay, you're not allowed to do that. Since you're obviously negating all street rules anyways, I'm gonna let you go past first, and I'm gonna make sure I get your license plate on video so I can report you. So smooth. I can hear the wife and that Yosh RS2 just putting along in the background. There comes another car out of the same spot. Yeah, as my wife was saying, there used to be wood pilings that would keep you from going through there. It's supposed to be an emergency access road, but apparently it's open now. Maybe there's construction over there that's blocking off a normal road that would otherwise be open, so that might be a recent detour, and I might just be too quick to judge. So I'm seeing a GPS mode that's not lit up on the dash there. I'm wondering if, I'm sure GYTR actually makes a gyro very similar to the one that's on the R1, where you can record and data log all of your throttle inputs and your braking and acceleration. That would be a cool upgrade. This is one of the bikes that didn't come with a quick shifter from the factory, so that was an upgrade that we had to do. As you can see, there's a QS lit up on the dash. Definitely a huge improvement over the lack of quick shifter, and they're back ordered for the next couple of months apparently for the FZs, which is a bummer, but it's kind of to be expected because in the United States we did not get them, and I am intentionally hard dumping first. Try and break up that clutch back a little bit, see if I can get it to release some of its stress. Trying to think of a good stretch of road where I can actually really open this bike up, where I'm not going to piss people off, that is. I wonder if I should get in front of that. Probably not. Man, she feels good. Hello, officer. Just following the rules. Just doing legal things. Man, it's crazy how much water that thing puts out. What's weird is, like, I could see this bike being unsatisfying to those who wanted the power of the R1, but to those who don't necessarily need all of that torque from the R1. It's got all of that linear power is just incredible. It's not surprising, it's not anything other than just smooth linear power. It doesn't feel like it's gonna rip the front end off the ground. I'm in mode A, my traction control is on, but this bike does not have anti-wheelie. And dump. And that was full throttle all the way up to 16,000 RPM in first gear, and the front did not even come close to getting off the ground. So it's definitely got a lot of horsepower and very little torque. So unless you're really getting into it, this bike isn't going to do anything to scare or surprise you. It's very deliberate to be able to get into the power, and I actually don't feel the power coming on until about 10,000 RPM. My wife behind me doing some wheelies on her Grom, and for the sake of kind of wearing in the clutch pack, I'm just going to be in the first gear, A mode, trying to be kind of choppy on the throttle. On the R1, the clutch pack progressively gets tighter and tighter the more you accelerate, so it acts, well, it's a slipper clutch, but it acts more like a progressive, kind of like my Maserati. The more throttle you give it, the tighter the clutch pack compresses. However, on this bike, you know, the clutch is what it is once you're moving. That doesn't change. So by doing second to first drops with the clutch and everything else, I'm trying to get some of the friction points of the clutch worn in and bedded to the actual clutch pack itself, and maybe make it a little bit easier for gear shifts, because it's pretty tight in all gears right now. Alright, got the wife behind me. I'm in A mode. Gonna turn right, giving those cars enough room for me to get up to whatever I can in first gear. God, that feels good. I'm not sure how well centered these brakes are as I sit here rapping on them, not paying attention to where my wife is. Sorry, babe. I'm impressed. Definitely not impressed with power. I'm definitely impressed with the linear power delivery. I actually just thought of a really good analogy. This bike feels and reminds me a lot of a rotary engine. My FD is a great example, where from 1,000 all the way to 11 grand in that car, it didn't feel like anything was happening. It just felt like the car was getting louder and you were going faster. On the R1, from about 1,000 to 4,500 revs, nothing happens, but as soon as you hit about 5,000, the bike just comes up, and it's like there's nothing you can do about it. This bike, however, is definitely a no surprises, no hidden thrills, just beautiful, clean power the whole way through the revs. Definitely a lot of fun to ride. And it's all of the power that you get out of this bike is very intentional. The throttle is a little choppy, being a drive-by-wire. That's something that I'm not too big of a fan of, but at the same time, I'm in A mode right now, and I'm being as sloppy as I can while still being safe, and I'm not having any problems keeping this bike under control. Definitely a good beginner bike. Definitely a good... See, all of that right there was just smooth acceleration, and I was wide open, you know. I hit 60, I think, but it wasn't like a oh my god, it was just, hey, the bike's getting louder and I'm going faster. With the R1, you know, tire would have been spinning, front would have been off the ground. Completely different riding experience. Overall, first impressions of the R6, guys, I gotta say, you know, it's been in the garage for a while. I've wanted to ride it. I just haven't really had the opportunity, and my wife hasn't let me. It's definitely a blast, and very enjoyable to ride. It does not feel like it's something that's going to become out of your control. It's flickable, very agile. Doesn't feel like, you know, you're just along for the ride. Definitely feels very controllable, very, very controllable. I don't see much that you could do on this bike where you would put yourself in a situation that you didn't mean to, or you'd have to be extremely careless. So that is going to wrap up my initial first impressions of the 2017 Yamaha YZF R6. A whopping 85 miles on this bike, so I'm beating on a new machine. Alright guys, well, I will see you in the next one, and hopefully this has been kind of informative. I know it's kind of a bit of a change of pace, not being on the FZ09, not being on a Ruckus, and being on a bike that isn't even mine, but you guys seem to like my first review and initial thoughts of the FZ09, so I'll put this one out there as well for those of you who are thinking about getting the 2017 R6. Having owned a 2012, having owned a 2012 R6, I can definitely say that this bike is a vast improvement over everything that the earlier generations had to offer. It's lacking in power, but for me, that could just be my problem. I'm so used to leader bikes, I'm so used to, you know, an 11,000 RPM redline. I was able to find neutral. And yeah, overall, just great bike, and can't say enough. Alright, Havoc out.